Hi, I'm Jenny from Art with Jenny K.
And I'm Mary Beth from Brainwaves Instruction.
And together we like to make learning
fun
with a lot of creativity. Today we're going to be talking about ways that you can take your ordinary lessons and turn them into extraordinary lessons. So let's start by talking about classroom decor, because often we can feel a little overwhelmed about our classroom decor, especially at the beginning of the year. So let's use a lesson that's inspired by Robert Indiana and create something extraordinary that looks like this. You can use any four-letter word, and simply by using tape, watercolor paint, and maybe even a little white crayon, you can make something extraordinary like this. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And you can even take it a step further, and you can collaborate, all of your students can collaborate together to create something that actually reads like this.
So you could read this book over your classroom library, or you could do book talks along with it. And it's a really fun way to make it more collaborative.
You could do STEM. There's a lot of four-letter words that you could think to do with this activity.
Totally.
To make it extraordinary.
So how do you do it?
Well, here's how you do it. You're going to take a piece of square paper, fold it in half once, fold it in half a second time. And then you're going to write out the letters that you want to be in white, the color of the paper. It's important that you use painter's tape because it doesn't stick as much. Then, using watercolor paint, the students are going to paint over in each square, remove the tape, and that will reveal the final word that they've created.
So this would be spelling out math.
Correct.
So you could have kids in white crayon write math facts.
Sure.
Right on it, and then they could be revealed. And then, like, no pressure, because if you get it wrong, everyone's now like, that's not the answer.
Forever. And the great thing about what happens with the white crayon trick is that there's wax in a crayon, and when they paint over it with watercolor paint, it resists and bubbles up around that wax, and that's how it will then show up like this.
So that's a really fun way to make an ordinary classroom a lot more extraordinary. And one thing that's kind of ordinary in a lot of classrooms is reading comprehension and listening comprehension.
And a little boring sometimes, let's face it.
It's true, it can be a little bit boring, but it's super important. So we've worked together to come up with a way to make it a lot more extraordinary. So the way it would start is, like most activities start, with a reading passage and reading comprehension questions, because it's an important skill for students to practice.
However, the answer that the students find from their passage is then going to coordinate to a piece of artwork where their answer is a pattern instead of a color or just circling the bubble. So for example, if the answer were polka dots, the students would all do polka dots in this space. And what's so great about it?
They're all different.
Completely different, because no two students are ever going to do polka dots the same. And even if they all did polka dots the same, they would never choose the same combination of colors.
So it's more interactive, it's more exciting, and it's definitely extraordinary.
And it looks great on a bulletin board next to something like this. And of course, art can always help to make your math concepts a little bit more extraordinary as well. So on my website, I have a full tutorial on how you can create quadrilateral robots using art. And don't worry, we're going to give you all the links you need and all the supporting documents for this video, the things we're talking about today. So in that document, you'll find that we've given you what quadrilaterals are, all the instructions, and it's very simple. Students are going to create the shapes of a robot using only quadrilaterals. And when it's done, it's going to be colorful, exciting, and all of their learning is going to be unique and beautiful, and your classroom will be super extraordinary. And now, Mary Beth, let's tell them, because I'm an art teacher, so having art supplies around is really simple for me. But classroom teachers, managing art supplies is a thing. So tell them about what you created in your classroom.
Okay, so in my classroom, I called little containers, like these are Glad containers, let's be honest. But I gave them a very fancy name that I like to call them art kits. And inside the art kits were, like art supplies. So markers, scissors, glue, and colored pencils and things like that. I had 12 sets, right? So enough that pairs of students could use them. This way, anytime we were doing something creative, like say something like this I would just say, go grab an art kit. The supplies are right there. Nobody has to dig in their desk. Nobody has to go to their locker. And it's just a simple management tip that you might want to try in your own classroom.
All of these things are things we think will help your classroom to be extraordinary and to infuse your learning with creativity and art.
Thanks so much for checking out this video.
And thank you for all you do with your students each and every day.
We'll see you soon.